Hi, I'm Cameron Emmanuel Burns, reporting for FinTech Futures here at FinovateSpring in San Diego, and I'm delighted to say that I'm joined by Katie Quilligan, an investor at BankTech Ventures. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. I'm so excited to be here with you.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much for joining us. And could you start off with telling us a bit more about your role and what sets BankTech Ventures apart in the investment space?
Of course. So I am an investor at BankTech Ventures, and BankTech Ventures is a strategic investment fund where we are backed by over 100 community banks. Started a little bit over 4 years ago, and really the goal was to go out and find solutions that can help community banks continue to be innovative and better serve their customers. And so we like to say we really act as their R&D arm, where we're sourcing out the technology and the things that they should be thinking about for both now and for the future, so they continue to be viable, competitive, and continue to be around. And typically we are looking at, for the investment side, maybe Series A, where there's some bank traction, and we can really just continue to help make those introductions and help continue on their journey of better serving banks. But we've also gone much earlier, where there's really a strong strategic need, or we can go later, just depending on what makes sense. But even when there is an investment opportunity, back to that R&D part of it, we are showing these solutions to our banks, and if they say, hey, I really want to see a solution that is a CRM, and even if we haven't made an investment, we can help surface solutions that they should know about.
Well, super. Well, when looking at potential investments, what specific qualities do you look for in fintechs that aim to serve the community banking space?
Yeah, like most investors, we're still looking at how viable is this business, how large of a market is this going to be. But where I think where we really are set apart from other investors is that we are looking very strongly how well can this serve the community banks? Do they understand what the problems are? Are they able to come in and really do that? And we serve a unique role where we're looking at both, is this a solution that our banks can use now, but is it also going to be future-proofed? Can this continue to help them grow and be ready for what they need? We have to look at that, and then also a bank sales cycle is typically pretty long, and average community bank might do 1 or 2 large innovation projects a year, and so that means that the solutions they bring in really have to be viable. And so unlike other funds, we can't just be like, okay, we can have 2 investments in the fund that pay back the whole thing. We really need to be looking at each solution to be viable, continue to be viable. And so we are testing out, we're making sure that they're having proper capitalization, that they are hiring the right teams, that they're not having a burn rate that is too crazy. And so those are big parts that maybe others don't look at that we really need to spend time with. And so we're lucky that we have over 100 banks, so we can really use them during our diligence process to help them test out those solutions and make sure that they're ready to go.
Perfect. Well, a bit more of a broad one here, but what are some of the key fintech investment trends that you're seeing shaping 2025?
Yeah, no surprise, agentic AI, really everything that we look at, not everything, but quite a large number of them have components of that. And I think particularly for banking, there's so much interest there because it's a way to augment your workforce. We're not seeing this as workforce replacement, but really the ability to take some of those manual processes that no human wants to do and allow technology to come in and make that better. And so that's a big part, back office efficiency is a big play. Still deposits is a large part of solutions, and driving that non-interest income are all areas where our banks really continue to want to see solutions. And we also think about creating better customer experiences, is that no matter what's happening, your customers continue to want to know about what is going to be a better situation or better solution for them. And so we look at those, and they're expecting the same thing that when they pull up their Netflix app or other ones, they now want from their bank. And so the banks need to continue to invest in technology to keep up.
Super. Well, you're speaking on a power panel later on today about how banks can future-proof their tech estates. So in your view, what's holding banks back from modernising, and where should they start?
Two parts. I would say big part of a lot of legacy technology, and there are real limitations with the core systems that they use. And so having a culture shift of actually moving away from being so dependent on the core is probably one piece of that, and working around that. And then 2 is, again, that just culture shift, a leadership shift of we do need to make certain things priorities and continuing to push forward on those innovation efforts and realizing that's important. Or even when we talk about using generative AI at the bank, there is the very real threat of regulation around that, and that there's a lot of gray area. And so you could sit back and be like, we're going to wait until there's clarity. But the problem with that is that the pace of innovation is increasing and it continues to get so fast. So if you continue to wait, you're actually going to be so far behind when there is clarity. And so you need to have that culture shift of like, we're going to manage the risk, but we also need to continue to push forward because your customers don't care. They still demand a better experience.
Super. And so finally, are there any recent developments at BankTech Ventures that you can share with us? Perhaps a new partnership or startup that you've backed that you're particularly excited about?
Sure. I'd love to talk a little bit about DeepSea, which goes back to our agentic AI conversation of they're really helping with that back office automation. They are taking that manual paperwork and other things that you don't want to do and helping banks to do things better and faster and doing it in a way that you don't need to have a really technical person at the bank. You can just have your subject matter expert come in and say, this is what the process looks like. This is where we know that there needs to be some changes and make that better. And so that can really help with doing some of your loan processes of actually doing that faster. And so that means that you might be able to process more loan applications and still do it with a human in the loop in a really smart way, but that you can get to a yes or a no faster so that your customer, the best customer, still is going to want to say yes to you. A customer that maybe isn't a great candidate, doesn't mind if they have to wait, but your best customer has many options, and so you want to be able to do it faster and also feel good as a bank that you're still doing it in a really smart way.
Well, Katie, thank you so much for your time today. It's been really insightful, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the conference, and good luck with your panel later.
Yes, thank you so much. So nice to chat.